included in the legislation.
Where would the money go?
It would go.
General
Go.
fund?
No. It would go to some special fund at GMH.
Oh,
No,
gee.
at GMH.
Oh, okay. Well, BJ, just speaking bluntly with you, I think you need to impose, you got the authority to do so. I think you should impose a penalty, monetary. And since they left the door open as far as how much, light a fire under
Yeah.
their
Well, we'll see.
buttocks. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to maintain a decent working relationship
Yeah,
with the
I can
departments.
understand.
But if I can't, then I will to think about doing a.
I, you know, I think these agencies have had ample time to understand 2024 audit is incomplete because of that reason. And future audits are probably going to be in jeopardy. So I would think if they were to address a monetary penalty, fine, by your office, then that would definitely get them to, let's move, let's get the numbers into
Well,
it.
I mean, they have an incentive, and
Exactly.
I believe one of the reasons why they're trying to get it out this week or before the end of the month is that I believe that the governor and the Department of Administration are to New York or in San Francisco
For the
to
bond?
for new bonds.
That's what I figured.
And so without it, they can't sell the bonds. So thankfully, they have their a fire. A fine for me, even up to $1,000 would do nothing. But the thought of not getting a bond is quite substantial.
Well, again, personally speaking, just my opinion, if the fine is, like I said, $1,000, $1,000 for some of these agencies, it's probably a drop in the bucket for some of them. It wouldn't impose a incentive for them to even comply. They'll say, fine, we'll just pay the fine, But you make it essential fine, and believe me, I believe they were going to turn their financial statements in. Speaking of, I asked you this before we came on the show. Isn't it a fact that the audit that you put out from the Office of Accountability, that is very crucial during the budget hearings at the legislature to come up with a balanced budget at the end?
Yes, I promised at the last legislature and this legislature that, before I became the public auditor, I was chairman of committee on appropriations at the legislature, and I always wanted to see the budget. So, the audit, so I knew how they were spending their money. But in those days, I had no money to give away. We were, there was nothing.
What was the budget, by the way?
Oh my God!
The
It was
Guam budget.
maybe 600,000.
And now it's 1.3,
1.3
billion?
1.3 billion. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
double.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Go ahead.
but I know the importance of having it, and so I promised the chairman and the speaker, although this legislature and the last legislature, that I would try to get the audits out on time. And to do that, I wrote the contract with EY and the auditors such that all the GovGuam audits of the small agencies are done by February. I get a draft in January. I get the final draft of small agencies in February. And then when all of those are done and the component units are done by February, I'm hoping that at the end of March, or at least by the end of April, I can get the GovGuam audit out. I know that the law says I'm supposed to get it out by June the 30th, but I wanted to get it out early. I know the legislature, or at least the committee, wants to be able to having hearings before that. And I've had to apologize to the state for the last 3 years that I couldn't meet it because of various problems. I mean, I have agencies that are constantly late, uh, and consequently they hold up the single audit. And then now it's Department of Administration that has decided that they're going to sacrifice whatever or accuracy over, and so they're taking their time responding to the compliance report and the audit, and so hopefully we can get it out.
You know, BG, because the beauty again of the hour is it's unfiltered, and I really love that. And with that said, do you think, for even a fleeting moment, I'll use it for lack of another agency, Department of Administration, that they don't divulge certain things because maybe they don't want you to see it right now, or it could put a flag. I don't know.
I really don't think that.
Yeah, good. Okay.
I think the problem is, and I've spoken to the legislature about this, is that we need the University of Guam to, well, now I'm thinking they've got to get together in the Masters in Public Administration program. They've got to teach within that curriculum grants writing and grants management, because we get so much money from the federal government, and we have people that take positions as coordinators in departments or ASOs that have no understanding of the issues, and what they need to do and how to comply. And so if getting an MPA out of the university would include having studied grants management and writing, then they can write grants well, and they'll be able to handle grants properly. And the legislature, we are having problems with procurement. So I imposed a requirement that you had to be certified, and the GCC took up the and
what is GPC?
GC Guam.
Oh, Guam GCC.
Yeah,
okay.
GCC. They took up the effort and a 4-module course on procurement appeal, on procurement, basic management. And so that you have the way the law is written, unless you're certified in one of in certain modules, there's only certain things you should be doing. And you can't be hired for positions that into procurement if you don't have the modules under your belt. Good. Unfortunately, that's not being done. And so some people are still being involved in procurement that shouldn't be involved in procurement because they don't have the necessary certification. So what now is that we also need that same thing in grants and grants management. And thankfully, the University of Guam now has a master's in accounting and a robust accounting department. Unfortunately, accounting and auditing is not a sexy
topic to
well,
major
no,
in.
It's not one of the hot majors.
Right.
And for the longest time, they were paid. The autonomous agencies were smart. The agencies knew that they had to have good accountants, good auditors in their department. So consequently, they upped their salary. And we were training them at the public auditor's office, but every time we trained, they went to they were pirated by utilities, because the utilities could pay $20,000 a year more than we could. So I finally got the legislature to increase our salaries, but they increased our salaries. But as I mentioned, the legislature almost every time I testify over the last 3 years is, please, you've got to do the same thing for the Department of Administration, the Department of Education, Department of Public Health, and any department has grants. You need good grantors, you need good accountants to keep track of what's going on, because eventually all that money has to come back into the Guam audit. You know, fortunately or unfortunately, previous legislatures have decided to decentralize government. And so now we have, 62 or 65 agency heads. And when Mr. Byrne at DOE tries to get things together, he's going to have things from 65 different people.
Yeah.
And those 65 different people to have accountants for themselves. And if we could just centralize it a little more. One of the things that was being discussed when DOE was last time was the possibility of back to the Department of Administration the financial side of but now they've hired a controller, they've hired a good person who understands finances, and they have a really excellent auditor. Hope they'll be able to get their act together. But I keep telling their boards, you've got to augment their salaries, you've got to increase it, because otherwise they're going to be poached by another agency that can pay a little more. I mean, the autonomous agencies. I had one woman who just moved from my office to Port Authority, from Port Authority to the home, because
the pay was better.
The pay was better, and so it's salary for accountants, and when you're handling this much money, you need people that understand how to be able to account for that money.
BJ, during your tenure as a Senate Speaker and Oversight Chair for certain agencies, you were, what's the one that handles the budget?
Office of Finance and Budget.
Okay. Legislature historically is create policy and get and distribute the budget to the different agencies. I've always been an advocate of, and you were speaking extensively about grant writing, and UOG has a good class there that people can.
Not yet.
Oh, not yet.
No,
okay.
I want them to.
They should
include in the curriculum a grants management.
I agree. But where I was going at is, I'm a big advocate that because the legislature puts policy and appropriates money to the different agencies, why not, hopefully, some of these, we got 15 senators, at least either employ an educated, very good grant writer. Not only can they appropriate money, they can actually bring in money. There's millions of dollars out there in federal grants out there just waiting for the take. It just needs a very good grant writer to put it into writing.
Well, I don't know if grant writing is an appropriate term of the legislature.
No, as
I really
a staff.
do. Yeah, no, but even as a staff, I really do think that it's for the departments that should have the grants writers and grants managers, because they are the ones that know what kind of grant you need for your departments. And so you need grants managers in the various departments.
Agencies, yeah. No, even that would definitely be in line with what I advocate for. And yeah, I'm 100% behind that as well. If not, as a staff, individual senator's office, at least have one at each agency that could write grants and bring in some money to their respective agencies.
Yeah, no, but you need to have people that know write grants.
Of course.
And because it is an art
It really
to write a grant. You have to know exactly how the reviewer would review all the stuff that you speak about.
I'm familiar, not as much as I would like to, with grants and people that write grants, because I was at an agency at the time, PBS, matter of fact. We had an excellent grant writer, and she brought in the hundreds of thousands, if not a few million, to the station. And again, it's just, it's a no-brainer to me that having a grant writer, and as you suggested, maybe more towards the agencies, because they know what typically they need, what grants to write to, and like it is definitely an art. You got to know what the grant, the Fed put out the grant funding, what they require in that you're submitting in trying to secure these grants. Is she mic'd up? Okay. You're in, please.
Sure.
Hi.
I
Hi,
don't mean to
Sabina.
interrupt.
Oh, by all means. How about? Sure.
I'll do it.
That's what I love. You sure? Yeah. That's what I love about live. Yeah. And welcome. We got a short time to talk to you. Welcome to the Hafa Hour with me, Dave Duenas. Of course, I've been speaking extensively with Mr. B.J. Cruz, public auditor, and joining us, my dear, dear friend, one of my favorite senators, Sabina Flores Perez.
Thank you.
And also, you were just here Sunday, weren't you?
Yeah. For
Yeah.
another reason.
If you don't know now, she's also a candidate in the 26th gubernatorial race, is running for lieutenant governor with her running mate, Therese Terlai, former speaker of the legislature. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Oh.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you guys
No,
in.
by all means. The BJ,
That's right.
just interject whenever you feel like. We're talking about writing, we're talking about the budget. Just to recap, you just tuned in, or you just came in, we're talking about, agencies filing, holds up the process of getting the audits out. BJ just to our viewing audience that the 2024 hopefully will come out and be completed by the end of this month. Hopefully. That's wonderful. Yeah.
I know he's doing such great work. We have to keep up with him.
No, but the good is, thankfully, is a champion of procurement training.
Thank you.
And she has taken the time herself take the procurement classes and all the modules.
Oh.
I think she's done all 4, if not 5 of them.
I think, there was a continuing one. I believe.
Yeah.
I know we were classmates at one point. Yeah. But
At the very beginning, yeah.
that was your law, I believe.
Yeah.
That you passed. You found that there was a decrease in protest
Yeah.
right after the introduction of that law.
On bid protest?
Bid protests, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or protests in general.
The numbers have substantially decreased since the training started.
No, that's great. That's
it,
moving in the right direction. I'm telling
it
you.
is, and that's why I was mentioning. I'm really hoping that the University of Guam is looking, and I already put it in the ear of a few people in the management up there of including in the curriculum for the Masters in Public Administration or even the Bachelors of Public Administration, grant writing and grants management, because people that are being assigned as program coordinators who have no idea what they're doing, they're I hate to say political hires.
Well,
and
you
they
said it.
don't-
I'm glad you did, because I was.
they're just
I was just about to
they're
mention
sweet, but they have no idea what they're doing with the
Yes.
program.
it. Yes.
And when you're handling that much money, it's
Crucial that you know
negligent
what you're doing,
that-
of
that
course.
if you don't know what you're doing. You don't get it in on time, and the program sucks. It affects the audit for if you're a small department, your audit, and then a component unit, it affects the Guam audit, because then, it goes down. I mean, yeah, as I was mentioning to Dave, when we get the audit out, I'm hoping that you will time and your colleagues will take the time to read the compliance report. The draft that I saw was like 63,
Wow.
and it had like almost 60 findings. In the past, it was like 15 or 20, 30 was the most that we've ever had. It was up to 60. And then they had to send it out to the departments so that we didn't do this, and can you disprove this? Can you disprove this? Fine. And I think you heard at the hearing that Mr. Burns said he wasn't going to release it until he got the findings down to 7 million in question cost to 50 million, or 15 million, but now they're saying 50. So I'm hoping it gets out with 50, what the number is. Just, you guys need to read it, because you need to know what has to be done.
Correct, yes. And yeah, it also affects future federal funding, right? If that we're not able to,
Yeah.
do it properly, spend properly, it can affect future funding as well. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, Dave,
Yeah.
the late filing even has affected departments.
Yes.
There are some departments whose grants applications are on hold with the federal grantor until we see a single from the government of Guam.
Yeah.
And the Department of Administration has just been on me every 2 weeks. They want to meet, and they want to know when it's coming out, when's it coming out, when's it coming, because they want to. And now they're taking proactive to get out an invitation to the departments that they were invited by at least for the Department of Interior, grants writing and grants reporting.
And so the federal government doesn't provide those funds, then the local has to pay for it.
Yeah.
And so that means less money at a time where we're probably with less revenues. But although I'm gonna say we're doing better than projected as far as collections goes, but yeah, there's that's unconscionable to have to, lose funding, which our community relies upon, right? If you think about Head Start, for instance, there was a time when, we potentially didn't have funding. There's defunding of PA, right? Not because
I heard about that.
not because of grants, misuse of grants. It's more so the administration, right? That they're reducing funding to agencies, and so we have to fulfill that gap with funding. But if we're having to fill funding which could have been avoided, that's really, that's going to hurt.
For the legislature last budget session, I mean, the Homeland Department of Homeland Security, Civil Defense and Homeland Security, there was no budget for it. They're still being funded by the government.
Right.
Without an appropriation, without an authorization. I don't know how that
So
is
that's
happening.
a question I had before the committee of the whole when we appropriated money for Sue, right? It was, I believe 25 million, and I asked the question: Is it to pay for those costs, the past costs? And they said, so that's I agree with you. Where is the money coming to pay for things that would have been reimbursed?
Yeah, I
from the
mean,
federal government?
they're really important. The geopolitical problems that we're having, and now we're having storms as early as April. Yeah, that department is absolutely critical. But you guys need to appropriate, or someone needs to jump on them. I mean, because we're getting a lot of government funds that are, federal, that are not receivable. When I first started at the OPA and I was the Gov Guam audits, the receivable from the federal government was like 5 million. Then 1 year it went up to 12 million. It went up to 15 million. Then it went to 21 million. Receivables was 31 million. This year, I think it was 62 million, and or maybe 59, but it was a huge number. So we're going to do performance audit to find out which department is coming from and whether or not this is in fact just as was being alleged earlier by the was the carryovers from the prior year when it changed. But so we're gonna do a deep to that one because that increase was staggering. When I looked, I was like, I wanted it done when it went from 21 to 32, and I keep getting to tell the staff, we've got to find time to do them.
And that wasn't a matter of how many years.
Since I've been there.
So,
If I can interject real quick, BJ and I were talking prior to you coming in about he does in fact have the authority, the power to impose fines for liens. His office does. A monetary fine that was granted to you by legislation.
yeah, I
last
believe it
year.
was
Okay.
Senator Grease bill,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and I'm all about that. And for many reasons. One of them being the late filing, hampering federal grants being applied for, being on hold because they didn't get the numbers that they need. BJ, the good public auditor here, said, not in fact impose any fines as of yet. And the reason being he get a good rapport with the agency, maintained a good working relationship with the agencies. But there's going to come a eventually that it's got to just stop. The filings are hampering a lot of agencies, not only the federal side, but locally. And I would implore our public auditor to impose a fine. And, if there's no limit, as you stated, make it where it will hurt. If they don't comply, it will hurt them not to. And then again, on the legislative side, you can amend that law, right?
And do what?
Authorizing the public auditor to impose fines.
I believe he does, right?
He
The
does
law
have
says,
that.
okay.
But what I'm saying is, could the legislature amend that and say, for example, I'm just talking out loud, thinking out loud. For example, we're going to amend it, take that authority away from the auditor, give it back to the legislature, and you, the legislature, whoever the overchair might be, or as a committee as a whole, impose fines and we get this resolved. No more late filings. If you do, you will penalize X amount of money. Is that a possibility? To
Sure,
amend the law.
that is sure is a possibility. But I think that to keep it within
No, I
the
agree.
public auditor.
I agree, and I totally respect what BJ was saying, that to keep a professional relationship with these agencies and give them a chance to comply. But all I'm saying is, if they don't, eventually just continues as status quo, then you're going to have to either impose or the legislature is going to have to amend that bill.
Something to think about for sure. Yeah,
No, I
definitely look
mean,
at
I'm an open thinker,
Look at it again.
We do live in a small little island. We're all, Abba?
You have a comment here from
Sure.
Eddie Cruz, and he says, I guess it's related to exactly what you're speaking of. BJ first needs to establish an MIS. Gov Guam needs a computer system so joint management can get a snapshot of government budget and expenditures. And maybe I think this goes into the symptom issue at hand. Is it possible that currently the accounting system is struggling to actually close out and actually generate your reports? Is that an issue that is the reason why these agents are struggling?
Yeah, well, for the 24 audit, part of the audit were numbers that were under the AS 400, and part of it was under the new system.
They didn't
I've
talk
been,
to each other.
yeah, and they didn't other, and so it caused problems. For the tribe audit, which I'm hoping to start early next month, supposedly this new GIS system is supposed to be able to spit reports almost instantaneously. I'm waiting to see that. So
Proof is in
when
the
we
pudding, right?
when it starts, I'm hoping that when I import uh, Gantt chart for FY25, so I can get it out by there should be no reason to balk and to say no, because it's all under the new GFMIS, and if the new GFMIS is king, then all those numbers should already be there. I mean, they've been sitting for months.
What is the acronym?
The Guam Fishery Management Information
Yeah,
System.
for our viewing. I don't even know what the heck is that.
So I'm hoping that the next one will be shorter, because supposedly this new GFMIS is able to do all these things instantly.
Great. So
We'll see.
hopefully they got trained on how to use the darn thing.
I don't
I
don't know.
I don't know either. But, you know,
I'm hoping that next month, sometime in the summer, I can come back and tell you that
Yeah.
it is.
well, you know, it kind of into that same realm as you got program managers out handling sometimes millions of dollars and not knowing what they're doing, you know? Basically, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
We got the new,
asked
great.
for access, but I think they're very protective of giving access to that.
Who's detective?
Yeah, it was very difficult to get access. Our office actually reached to try to get access to that information.
Well, you got subpoena power, don't you?
We do, but it's not, yeah, that would be different, but just to get access to going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know, people. That's why I love this show. It's unfiltered, and I'm going to be unfiltered. I'm going to say, tell it like it is. You know, if these folks are not complying, number one, not provide access, there's got to be a way to make them comply, get access. You know, if you got to light a fire on Duggan, well, this is unfiltered. I can say the RAS. If we have to light a fire under the RAS, then light a fire under the RAS. It's only going to benefit our island, our people, our economy, our budget, period.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm really hoping that that the GFMIS is working. They say it's working. But we also have the problem of numbers from Department of Revenue and Taxation,
Which is not awesome.
which is not on the system.
And why not?
I have no idea.
I
Even
don't
when I
either.
was a senator, my big thing that I say to them all the time is, I don't understand how in that one building up in Barry Heights, there is a payment center in the middle that's Department of Administration. And it receives the money and it goes into their computer. But that computer in that building can feed the information to a Ganya, but it can't feed, it can't read what's happening
At Revenue
within
Tax.
Ed Rev and Tax.
That's
And
kind of
I
Yeah, so that was actually, I asked that question, that question was asked to Director Byrne recently, and he testified that it was a decision by the director not to harmonize the
I-
two.
I recall
To not
that.
connect the two. So, yeah, that could have solved many issues, unfortunately.
I can understand that answer, but the more important question would be, why?
Right.
Why did that director, whoever, I don't know who it was at the time, or is it the current one, why did they make that decision?
And if that's really the case, right?
Yeah,
What
I
is
mean,
the
why?
real case?
Because, like we're discussing right now, they get the money there, it goes directly, they communicate with administration and again, well, I'm thinking about the
When you-
old, yeah, oh yeah, IT.
Took down my building.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of Department of Information, yeah, I have fond memories of that place. Anyway, kind of that thing off of the subject, but that's what we do on the show. We talk about anything. Go ahead, Senator.
Oh,
Did I put you on? Anyway, just to let you know, again, share, like, I learned this from Dr. Akimoto. Share, like, what else?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. There you go.
So, I think from an accounting perspective, I actually have a background in military finance, right?
Okay.
And this might be, because I guess this is just out of curiosity. We had the finance and accounting survey when the Air Force downsized at the time. They went from 30-person units to about 3 on site. Did that by creating a hub, a finance hub, which is what we know as DFAS, right? DFAS Denver, DFAS Cleveland. Why is it that our government, you just mentioned, I think earlier before the senator came, that there's 60 head agencies, and who is the center for finance for our government? Apart from, OPA, where's the created finance center?
Eventually, it's supposed to be, it'll eventually be Department of Administration. But the problem is that he doesn't have role over the hiring of the various agency heads and the hiring various accounts to people in the various agency heads. So he's at their mercy. Like we like when we couldn't get the DOE one out. The Department of Administration gives DOE money. DOE distributes it. It's supposed to account for it, but it's having problems accounting for it. And so it can't report back to DOE about how it spent its money. And I keep saying we need to have good accountants out there and properly paid people. I mean, well-paid people, not overly paid, but properly compensated so they can compete.
What if?
There was talk of the legislature of taking the Department of Education's financial management responsibilities back with A. And there's still some talk, but I think maybe it probably necessary. Well, we'll see if we can get this out. But no, but all the departments have their own accounting systems, and then the DOE tries to consolidate it and trying to get its pulling teeth, as I keep telling everybody. You think my teeth are? You should see it. I mean, it's impossible to straighten them, but try to straighten out the departments to respond.
Remember the semi-autonomous, or are we talking all line agencies too?
Line agencies.
Wow. Okay.
And even some of the semi-autonomous that come from government of Guam. I mean, all that is reported through ours. Thankfully, they are on time. I mean, there was a time before you came on the ledger when it was Gura that was late.
So, I mean, the autonomous, they're doing okay and turning in.
Oh, They are my first ones. They're,
Wow. Cool.
they
I like that.
they're easy kids.
Yeah, well, kudos
my-
to you, autonomous agency.
But they
Line
also,
agencies learn from them.
but they're very well paid
Yeah,
and
there you
auditing
go.
staff.
And that goes back to what you
And
were
they
alluding
steal
to
all
earlier.
those from every.
And pay them right. You know, like BJ said, don't overly extravagant pay them, you know. I'm not going to mention names, you know, we got heads making almost $500,000, $250,000 in salary per year. I wouldn't know that kind of money. I really wouldn't.
The way we did this in the Air Force was we had a centralized accounting. This was even before they put everything online and put it on the internet, right? And so what they did was every line A, which had its own objectives and agenda, a person from finance office would be sent as a liaison to work within that office. And they would report, their hierarchy was our office, the finance accounting office. So that there was always a two-way communication and someone managing the books in that line agency, so no one was ever late. It's almost like you're insourcing, even if that agency, whether autonomous or a line agency, had their own objectives, the money was still being handled by one office. Is that something that can be implemented?
Eventually, there's no reason why it couldn't be. It's just the issue of getting those people that can, the contact people, the liaisons, as you call them, between the agencies. And you would think that one administration, except for Department of Education, they're all really one administration. You would think that they would be able to speak to each other, but they don't.
That's your answer, I think. Yeah, we need to centralize the accounting process.
Centralize, or even bring back some of central all the agencies. There doesn't need to be 65. I think
Exactly.
Mr. Byrne talked about that.
Consolidate, yes.
Consolidate some of them and bring them
Yes.
together.
Money too, probably.
Absolutely.
If you're s-
You know,
And then you would have the concern for competitive salary. I mean, you don't want to not be competitive, but
Exactly.
still, you're fighting so many different agencies.
Yeah.
I think that would.
Andrea, do we have any questions from our viewers?
No, the other comment we have here is Eddie Cruz says Guam needs reorganization period so that they can combine, so they can work better together with.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just in line,
I
Ed,
think we
with
just
what we're
solved the
just talking
problem.
about.
Just
65?
need to implement it.
Yeah.
We have 65 agencies?
That's what the protocol list is.
My goodness. Yeah, we need to consolidate, I think there's a bit of duplicate in everything they're doing, and, we just got to go through it, we'll fine tune and consolidate, save money, and hopefully we'll get everybody in,
In sync with each other.
hopefully in a central location, one location. They're all over the place. And I don't know what's the percent, how many of them are renting, which costs a pretty,
Yeah,
A lot of
we
money.
did a report on
on how much.
how much leases are
Do you have
are
an idea,
costing. Yeah,
approximate?
it was a few years ago. It was like $5 or $6 million
Rental.
in rental.
Wow.
And
There was talk not too long ago when Brody Memorial School was vacated by GDOE to use that facility as a central, or at least Guam agencies can move in.
for a few.
That didn't happen. We continue to rent. I name a few of the rentals. Tax is one of them. Tax has been everywhere. been at Tijan at one point. You remember that?
And
When
down
they
in the
doing the
Antelope
brag-
area to Anigua, right?
Yeah,
There
no.
initially.
Yeah, it was.
Old days, right?
We're showing our age. BJ, you want to talk now?
When we were all the Department of Administration building.
Yes.
We
I
used to
have
be.
fond memories of that building. Every time I go to a Canyon now,
Don't bring that up because
I
that was a
know.
big fight that I had with the legislature about that away.
And that's something I actually was
March.
prioritizing my first term was to get your own home.
Mhm.
But I think the directive at the time was to build the Capitol. So that didn't happen either.
How is that going?
Yeah, that didn't happen either. So we're in a
You mean the
standstill as
Gagnon
far as.
Restoration Project? Is that what you're talking about?
So,
I haven't seen any restoration yet. I'm just saying, I'm, I'm a son of Guam and I love my island and I'm gonna stay here. I don't want to leave, but it's just gotta get better. We gotta be more frugal in how we spend our money. What is it, $1.3 billion now, which I'm sure is gonna dwindle in the next few years. There's very buildup is eventually going to wind down. That's where a majority of the money is coming from. And so the 1 billion is probably not going to be realistic. I don't know what it's going to look like for 27. Do you have any idea, BJ?
Nope.
But again, I don't think it's going to 0.3. If it is, I'll be surprised.
unless we develop our economy, right? So that's really is
Thank you.
building an economy.
Thank you
up.
for bringing that up. We need to develop our economy. I don't care, tourism is very vulnerable to world condition, natural disasters. Anything happens, in the world, we have a conflict war in this Indo-Pacific area, it affects tourism. It's probably going to kill it. Natural disaster, of course, is going to affect our tourism. And I bring tourism up because that's always been, it's either military in the money or tourism. And tourism is not there at all. And the military monies are going to dwindle. So we need to diverse. Yeah. And matter of fact, brought it up, him and Charlie brought it up. Just diversing a little bit, BJ, from the OPA stuff, but diversing our economy. Jeff and Charlie, who are candidates, by the way, for governor, lieutenant governor, the independent banner, said, we need to develop our agriculture, our industry, maybe fish farm, growing our own vegetables and food, stuff like that. I'm a big fan, advocate of, and Jeff mentioned it briefly.
Talk about showing your age.
Yep.
You forget, I was here 50 years ago when I worked for Governor Vicky Burdell, and talk about a man with some foresight
The Green Revolution.
and vision, he was pushing the Green Revolution. That was his campaign slogan, the Green Revolution.
2020.
We've been talking about, we've had agriculture here
Yeah.
and agriculture. There were more, but there used to be egg farms here, and
True.
there used to be cows here, and they're all gone.
No. Very true.
And that was the other reason why I passed the legislation for RCUOG. RCUOG was not going to be a federal grants program. It was supposed to be to start up industries. And I keep telling everybody, read Startup Nation. And that will explain to you what RCUOG was supposed to do. It was supposed to be seed to do that, not to move federal grants through. It was to try to take those things, figure out if there's a way that you could have some research or some cancer drug from some balati, some
We don't have any anymore. They ate them all.
or some starfish or something. But you've got to use that to pay for those kinds of research and then maybe that'll be the seed to start a pharmacy of some sort or some industry like that. But
I like your
they
thinking.
missed it. No, I mean, really, seriously, with the book.
No,
It's
true.
10 years old. It is, because I passed the bill 13 years ago. It's almost 15 years old. Startup Nation. It's about how Israel by itself does more startup things than anybody. It's grown.
You know, I'm all
It's grown
about
everything
thinking outside the
about
box.
in the desert, and the same thing with San Diego about how it's been spawned all kinds of. But you've got to do that. But Dahlia was pushing green revolution and alternate energy 50
Wow.
years ago.
Wow, yeah, we need to go back to that, honestly.
You know, and
It's-
everybody
the
thought
burning
we
is
were
so
nuts.
expensive.
But now we're finally having windmills all over the world except for here. The president's having problems with, but she doesn't have problems with it. Solar panels. When I built my house up the hill in Talafulfa here, my first house, I had a solar panel water heater. And
Yeah,
everybody thought I was nuts.
I know we do have the 100% renewable by 2045, but
There you go.
the thing is the price of oil is like $300 a barrel. So I think we really need to push that closer than further away, because, I mean, if we're
I
going to
mean, we
invest
had
$100
that
more-
problem in '75 when we
Yeah.
were having a crisis, and
Yes.
the same thing, Iran. That was it. Was pushing, and
I remember
and the
those
Green
days.
Revolution.
75, is
But-
that when it happened?
Yeah,
It was
these-
it was
yeah,
it was the 70s.
I was
It
lined
actually
up like
79.
everybody else, overnighting in the car. Then we
Yeah,
get
those
to
gas
the,
guzzlers, right?
yeah, then when we got to the pump, we're out, it was like, what? After sleeping in the car with my younger brother, you know, I was driving each that
No,
time.
but these have been ideas that have been around for at least
Yes.
50 years.
You
And
know,
our indigenous people knew how to grow to this climate. So if you look and see
Absolutely.
what survived the typhoon, right? You have your taro, the ground produce. So we knew how to survive through these kind of forms, and I think it's really kind of it's important to reclaim the knowledge, the indigenous knowledge that allowed us to survive over 3,500 years here.
and it's not like we were trying to reinvent the wheel. The wheel was there. It just somehow dropped the ball, and here we are.
Yeah,
You know,
we got
I guess we're
dependent on
too. I was just
importation.
about to say we're too dependent now with importing of everything, and
Which is
90+%
increasing-
of
which is
what we
increasing
get.
the cost. Right?
Exactly. You know, the days. And you can take your spam back. I'll go back to fish. But anyway, it's really great having you two here. Again, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the Hafa Hour with me, Dave, telling it like it is with Senator Sabina Flores Perez to BJ Cruz. I really admire you, BJ, for knowledge and everything. People ask me, said, can you give us some information about BJ? I said, if you Google him, you're going to freak out. It's like a book. You've been everything and everything, Like he was my boss as a young 15, 14-year-old as a summer youth. I think it was called CETA at the time, wasn't it?
Individual family grants.
Oh, well, that too. I remember I did that one,
She
5,000.
just did.
Yes. Yeah, as a young year, I was interviewing people for the family grant. The federal government, for a disaster.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Typhoon Pamela.
We gave $5,000 to individuals. Oh yeah, I remember that very well. Did the whole interview, true story, to an applicant, 5,000 family grant. Then at the end of the interview, about 30, 45 minutes, I said, we're gonna have to send a out there to verify everything you said was true. You go, really, boy? I said, yeah. Then you go, okay, never mind. I said, wow. Anyway, just diversing from the show, but again, great having you.
Thank you.
Having you both. I know you both have busy schedules. I don't want to keep you any longer than I have to.
We have some comments here, and just reading that in now.
By all means.
I think they're questions, they're more just comments. Eddie Cruz says, I see deception, but that was probably in alignment with the former conversation with the budget.
Yes.
Andrew Billany said, these problems have been discussed for years with little progress. What has blocked action in the past, and what can be done differently to cut through delays and deliver real outcomes?
Anyone?
Was there a specific topic?
No, so there's
No.
and at any point, I know the senator, they do have a platform, and that you can send questions and communicate with you to come up with solutions
Sure.
for your action. And then Andrew also says, well, no, says Adelup intentionally corrupts the numbers so that BJ and Burns can't effectively do their job. And that's Eddie again. And then Pangilinan Carlos says, BJ's title is Maganda. So they like your title.
Maganda. Oh,
Maganda.
okay.
And those are the people that stopped through. There's a few more, so you guys can go and look later on.
Great. Thank you. All for watching. And,
Oh, before we go,
sure.
I want to make one pitch. You should.
Yes, of course.
Anyway, with quite a bit of money doing the audits, okay? My office, the legislature, 2 million. We spend almost $1 million in the financial audits.
Wow.
Read them, please. They are not supposed to be just for a bookshelf, okay? Read them.
I guess.
So my office not only issues the financial audits, we also do performance, and these performance audits are like management audits. We go in departments, we find out, oh yeah, you have an SOP, but complying with it. If you complied with it, you would have no problem, And some departments don't. And if you have an SOP, then you follow it. And I was being told, yeah, they're all on their websites. And I'm going, it does good on the websites if the people in the department aren't reading it and realize they have to do A, and then B, and C, and then D. Please. Because I would love to be able to not have to do as many performance audits. We have to go through and point out to the departments. But please ask those of you that listen and those of you that are running for office, read the audits. You'll be surprised what you'll learn. When you read like the financial audits, the compliance reports are really, really important, because that gives you where you can make some changes and makes affect change. But and the performance audits just give you an idea of what's happening out there and how things could be improved.
In the audit,
So
don't they
please
come
do.
with
They all
as
come
well?
with recommendations.
There you go.
And we follow up with them every couple of years. Oh, I want to reach out. If there's a gentleman out there who, for some reason, is reading our audits, and I want to thank him. His name is Sam Kim. But he has done some, if you read the and
I
the
have, actually.
Pacific Island Times, he's run some articles. He does excellent articles having read our audits. He really, I'm surprised, he's probably read more audits than my staff,
Wow.
because I have to read everything before it goes out of the office. But the staff is busy all writing. They don't all read each other's stuff. But this guy must have read all of them, because he's doing these articles and talking about how he did this, and he would quote from them. Whoa. So if you're out there, I want to meet you at some time because I want to thank you and I also want to know
Thank
what
you.
you're doing here.
And more importantly, for the agency
Yeah.
to make sure there's corrective action.
You know,
right? So it's not showing up again.
Corrective
next
action.
time.
Exactly.
No,
And
we-
like BJ said, when you get the audit, when it's completed, don't just put it in the filing cabinet and don't read it. Read the darn thing, you'll learn something.
And Pirate Captain Pleadwell, he's watching from wherever he is in the nation. He's saying performance audits are going to be mandated with the Pirate Nation. So, any words? to say?
Yeah, please.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think corrective action plans are definitely to be followed. In fact, I've worked with the public auditor passing a bill to address one of those, basically compliance reports, right, for training. So, yeah, they need to be followed through, and so I'm glad you're following up with the corrective action plans as well. Yeah, that they can't be ignored.
BJ?
We can't continue to ignore it because that's the people's money, and we need better service. We have to have a change in the mindset, right? We have to incorporate a change in our government, so not be complacent, but always look to improvement. So something I feel that I'm used to is a continuous quality improvement, and that's kind of like what I would like to see happen with our government, is that we're there to provide service, to improve our service, and not just be complacent with what we've done in the past. And I think the audits are going to be very a good guide to that. So my hat's off to the public auditor for all his guidance, and actually his service. He could be at home retired, but he's to help out with Guam, and like Dave said, he's served branches of government, so
Everything.
and excellently. So I think with that sort of team, we look forward to.
I want the governor. Hey,
Thank you.
we only live once. Let's do
Goodbye.
He's ready to go.
Final comments? Final
No,
comments?
just please read the,
Yes, thank you.
even if you just read the executive audit, the executive summary, in the performance audit, at least you understand, maybe it'll tweak your interest to read the whole thing. But in the financial audits, you may have problems, if you like numbers, follow through the numbers. But the compliance reports are just really important because that's going to tell you what's going on in the department.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, ways you can choose to dance or not, but we're gonna play out with the pirate song. You can wait
That's
until
why
we're
we
gonna
come.
play out. And a reminder, anyone who is watching us, you can play the voting game at hafahour.com.
Thank
And
you.
also, we do have a petition signing event today, Friday at 4 p.m. at Beans and Barrels at Choice and Mighty.
Fantastic.
That's this Friday.
If I can also put a plug for our site.
Please do.
We also have a petition drive at Fokai Shop in Tumon from 4 to 7, I believe, tonight.
Today?
Yeah.
Can I come?
Where exactly again?
In Tumon, the Fokai Shop.
Yeah.
There's,
In Tumon.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And they reach out to you on Facebook in case they need any information.
yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
That's
Thank you.
today.
That's today, yeah.
Reminder today,
Yeah.
everyone.
Hawkeye Shop, 4 o'clock,
2 to 7, I believe.
4 to 7. Oh, great.
And we can help you register.
Yeah.
Just bring
Again,
your
thank
IDs.
you. Thank you all for tuning in to the Hafa Hour with Duenas. Telling it like it is, and we did. And so did our viewers. They didn't hold back. If you have any questions and some pointed comments, thank you very much. That's exactly what it's about here on the Hafa Hour, especially with me. Tell it like it. I have a tendency to do that. Sometimes I get in trouble. That's okay.
Guam
I always
Unfiltered.
tell her like it is.
Thank you. That's how I do it. Thank you.
Oh, for a die Guam. Here that I come alive. Come just pirates Cove.
That's the song. And
Captain
Yeah,
Jeffrey,
yeah.
please well keep the compass true.
I was telling BJ I don't dance till the disco is over.
Things with the signal save our
I
start.
haven't danced since, and I really haven't. And do I know how to dance, Sabina? Yes, I do. But I don't.
I used to.
No fear in
Now
our
my feet
eyes.
don't
Raise
move
the
as
sails
fast
to
as
the
my
watch the whole place rise.
I told him at the beginning, you're going to ask us to dance at the end. You go, are you going to dance? I ain't dancing either. I did one show I did. You know, well, I didn't dance, but I did, you know, but I know it's old, but I don't know.
I don't want to embarrass myself. I do that enough.
I know what I'm going to do. It's about 15 minutes to 12. I'm going to have me a good burger. Right here at Campfire Stone. You know? That's right. I did it all. I don't have a chance to eat their burger every now and then. So I'm here today. I'm going to eat me a burger before I go home. Oh, thank you. Are we still live? All right.
Time to go.
A few moments later.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Each story is told in a different way. Sometimes I hear the same birds singing from past weeks, telling of their adventures since last seeing each other.
I'll make you proud, Grandma. Promise.
That's better. Okay, we're done.
The property lines.
Sir, please wait here.
I need you to stay by the car.
Okay, I got it.
Just tell me what happened.
Has been breached. Confirmed reports of multiple attacks in the capital.
Please. We're now in a state of alert.
You ready? Let's go. Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, yo.
It's your record. I cannot get it out in the mail tonight.
Concentrated power of will. 5% pleasure, 50% pain, 100%
Come on in.
Yes, but I didn't.
Details emerging of a major political scandal shaking the island.
But I didn't expect it here. Where else would it be?
Only thing that's on my mind, who's gonna run this town tonight?
Yeah, I said it, we this is Friday.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
It took just 24 hours for us to lose control of the city. Tonight, Gotham's relying on the
Take a deep breath and tell me exactly what happened.
We were outside the outlets when someone tried to...
Under these statutes, you don't have the authority.
Responsible gun ownership is the law.
Coming from that appellate
Now,
before they realize what we know.
I understand the...
Only
Up to date, I'm DJ. And I'm Tony. The countdown. It's a beautiful look.
we gonna run this town.
See you there.
Here.